And hello there, and this is King of Trying It, always trying it, and I'm here to talk about the weapons today. Now, we're gonna go through all the weapons. There has been some changes apparently, so obviously I'll be testing them out the first time in this video, but at the same time, a lot of stuff should be the same. So, oh, that's not it. That's food. So these are all the melee weapons in the game. Obviously we got the spear here, obviously cutting in at 20 damage. We got the boxing gloves at 25. We'll talk about the speed in a bit. Then we got the bone club at 30. Then we've got the poison spear at 30 still. So obviously, same damage as this, which is weird because obviously, the melee damage of that is actually lower originally, but the melee damage actually increases and it's got 12 poison on the top of it. Then you've got the machete. Then it's the scrap bat. Then it's the mailbox going at 105. And then finally, you've got the samurai sword. I swear it used to be called the katana, but that's just what I called it. But yeah, samurai sword at 130. Now, it's the fastest speed. It seems to be when the numbers are higher. So 1.2 is faster than 0.76, which is weird because I thought the numbers would be lower for speed. So let's see what the fastest weapon is in the game. The fastest weapon in the game is the boxing gloves at 1.35. That's the fastest melee weapon in the game. And then at second place would be, I guess, the scrap bat. So the scrap bat and machete share the same melee speed, just under the boxing gloves. So really and truly, you're getting the fastest weapon in the game, which is scrap bat, and good damage. And then the slowest weapon in the game would be probably the mailbox. Whoops, what happened to the melee weapon? So yeah, so we're going to go through all of those. We're obviously going to just bring all those with us now, but that's the order of the damage of the weapons. But obviously, even though a weapon is stronger, slower, and such, it depends on how they're useful in combat, and that's what we're going to check up on in this video. Let's go. Okay, so let's talk about the spear first. Now, the spear can be held down, and obviously you do constant melee attacks. That's with pretty much every melee weapon. But the thing with this is, because it's a precision weapon, which means it thrusts or penetrates, it means that you've got to be really on point with the attacks. Now, avoiding with this weapon is quite hard because, as you can see, it's awkward, because it moves your whole body and it seems to force you to get hit. It also does very, very low damage. You coming over? You are, cool. If you want to throw it, there you go. So it's slightly higher, but the thing is, because it's a thrown weapon at that point, it starts to count as a ranged weapon, and with ranged weapons you're able to headshot. With melee weapons, as far as I'm concerned, you can't headshot with melee weapon. Okay, let's move on to the next weapon. Okay, so my next weapon is the boxing gloves. My favorite kind of weapon. Like, it's just like, I've never known a survival game or a game in general to have it. Now, this is the fastest melee weapon in the game, because obviously it's basically unarmed, but way stronger than unarmed attacks. And it's really, really cool. I guess you could have fun PvP matches with it, or when you invite a friend over, maybe they'll be used for friendly boxing duels. I don't know, it's quite funny. But ideally, to be honest, I don't know how you'd be able to pull this off. Okay, so the bone club. Now, the bone club is an okay weapon. It's stronger than the boxing gloves. The attack speed is near enough the same as well, but not as fast as the boxing gloves. Its hit range seems to be a bit smaller in range. Obviously, I've not completely tested out ranged weapons yet in terms of like how big a weapon is. Whoa! But as you can see, when there's multiple minions, the bone club isn't really your best option because it's quite weak. It is stronger than the wooden spear, and it's easily made in terms of materials. But the problem with the bone mazes is that it's just not strong enough, and it will end up probably getting you hit most of the time before you even defeat anything. Now, poison spear is stronger than the bone club and stronger than the original spear, so its damage actually goes up, but it actually gets added on some poison on the tip of the weapon, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's the first time you get to use poison, but to be honest, to put poison on the spear or to make it, poison's quite awkward to make. You're better off finding poison than making poison. And again, poison, it seems to be only for PvP. Now, the game has updated since I've last tested this, so we're gonna find an enemy and hope that poison now works on, on more than just players. So let's go find something to kill. Okay, so we've got an enemy, so let's see if the poison works now. Right, so we should just see it drop down. Hey, they made the poison work now. Awesome. All right, so you just get an extra hit, it seems, so you can spear them. So the spear animation's the same, which, as you can see, still precision based, but the poison on top is great. It actually works. But the bad thing about the poison now is that it only does one hit. Like, poison on players, if I remember right, it lasts for quite a while, and it keeps hitting, and then eventually, oh, okay, I guess the poison does still work, it just takes a while. All right, cool. So the devs have changed that, because before you could do poison on enemies and it just wouldn't do anything. So that's amazing now. I'm glad that they fixed that, because in all honesty, that was an issue. If you can get this weapon at the very beginning and you're lucky to find it or get it somewhere, or you're able to pass the bears and get the machete, or if you need to just know how to get the machete at the beginning of the game, and obviously check in the video top right of the screen now and it will show you how to get a machete. But if you can get this, you are good. All right, the machete is easily the best beginning weapon in the game. It will take care of you. It's a shame you can't put poison coating on it. That would be awesome. To be able to put poison coating on any weapon would be amazing. Obviously, on this type of creature, it's got next flexibility with it, and it kills the ghouls in 3 hits, which is ideal. My rule for melee weapons is if it kills it in 3 hits, it's a good weapon. All right, 3 hits or higher. 2 hits is better, and 1 hit is just amazing. But it's very, very hard and rare to find a weapon or in a game where it lets you 1-hit stuff, because it's obviously, impractical for survival, because it makes the game too easy. It also has an extra ability, unlike other melee weapons, which allows you to cut trees. So if you've got loads of machetes and you're building up and you've just been fortunate, it actually cuts more wood than a level 1 axe. So yeah, go ahead and use it. Like, it's just invaluable. I wish I knew this before, because I had a crazy build up of machetes, but I didn't actually know it did that. So kind of gutted that I deleted a lot of machetes. You can also make a machete, and a machete is quite cheap to make. So if you want to make it, make it. Obviously, check out the video in terms of how to find the materials for the machete if you're struggling, but you should be all right in finding materials for the machete. Now, the next weapon is a scrap bat. Now, the scrap bat is found in the quarry zone. I did it in my latest stream if you haven't seen it, recent from this video. But if you haven't, then yeah, it's in the quarry zone in the southwest, around that location. I'll bring up the map of that now so you can see it. You can find it there, but then you can also make a scrap bat. Pretty much nearly every single melee weapon you can make in the game, except for, I believe, the boxing gloves. I don't believe you can make those. So the scrap bat's pretty good. In terms of the cost of materials it takes to make it, is kind of expensive, to be honest, but personally. But it's, at the same time, the weapon is really, really good. If you don't have anything but a machete, then the scrap bat is definitely worthy of your time. As you can see, it takes out ghouls in 2 hits now, nearly 1 hit, which is just a bit shy of 1 hit. and the speed is just amazing as well, so it's actually really good for PvP too. So yeah, Scrapback's an amazing weapon, and I do suggest it. What are you doing, bruh? Stop that. Got a Scrapback, bruh. Scrapback. Alright, so I thought it was the strongest weapon in the game, but it's not. But it is definitely the slowest weapon in the game. Now, this weapon should be amazing, but I don't know if they've changed it. I will tell you what it did before. Before, it was just a slow weapon. It hit a single target, and it was powerful. It is powerful to have at a starting game. It kills ghouls in one hit, so that's also what makes it good. But as you can see here, it's not doing splash damage. I feel like this weapon should have splash damage on it, where it hits multiple opponents. Like, it hits one opponent, but then around it maybe does extra little bits of damage to other opponents around it. That's why I feel like this weapon should be like. As you can see, it has a really slow startup. So when you're fighting a player, you can get killed with this. And it's not ideal. It's really not ideal. I guess if you can skillfully move around really good, it's nice. But if you're getting attacked or chased, you've got to start it up first, and then you've got to turn it around like this, and that could surprise a player. But with this type of weapon, you've kind of got to start off. You couldn't attack and do that, because whilst the move is happening, you're getting comboed, especially in toxic lizards. In the second zone, they will end you if you use this weapon. So I suggest dodging or avoiding using this weapon. If this weapon has reach, however, that wouldn't be too bad, because before the weapon was bad at reach. So if I do it early, no, it doesn't seem like it has reach still. Like, since it's a longer weapon, you'd think it would have reach, but I don't seem to be able to hit enemies earlier than I'd normally do as a standard weapon. So this weapon would shine if you could hit multiple opponents, at least 2 at once, at least, and if it had reach. And the problem with the reach is it's just non-existent. Final weapon, and the best weapon in the game. It's called the Katana. Yeah. Okay, so the Katana is the strongest and not the fastest, but the speed is just amazing still in it, and it's just the best weapon in the game. It might as well be a legendary weapon. If we could put poison on this sword, that would make it even more crazy. But ideally, or to be honest, it's just an amazing weapon. It 1 hits definitely most things in this zone. It 2 hits. Does it 2 hit a bear? I don't think it 2 hits a bear. I think it 3 hits a bear, which, remember the number I said. Anything it 3 hits is amazing. To be honest, like, once you get the Katana and you find a lot of them and you can produce them, it's the only weapon worth making, because once you get a Katana, you don't need to bother with anything else, because it's stronger than the mailbox weapon. Oh, it does 2 hit a bear. See, it's great. It doesn't 2 hit a toxic lizard, sadly. It would be amazing if it did, but it does deal with a toxic lizard, but you don't really want to be close to a toxic lizard, to be honest. But yeah, once you get this weapon in general, like, everything just becomes, you know, I know it's a child-friendly channel, but everything becomes your bee, basically. All right, like, nothing can mess with you when you have the Katana. The Katana is amazing, full stop. It's the best sword, melee weapon in the game. Highly suggestible. You should definitely use this weapon. All right, once you get it, you don't need to bother with anything else unless they change the mechanics of the game. You can't throw the Katana, sadly. That'd be cool. And to be honest, if you could throw the Katana at someone as a, you know, a ranged technique weapon, then another great thing would be is if you could retrieve it, and that'd be different from a spear compared to, you know, a Katana. You get to bring it back, but maybe it uses more durability, you know. But hey, devs, if you're listening, that'd be great to kind of have something a bit different in the game. Okay, so that is all the melee weapons in the game. Hopefully this isn't too long. Hopefully I can cut into this and make it a bit shorter for you guys. Obviously don't forget to go on the top right of the screen if you want to click onto more interesting videos that might help you out. And yeah, if you've got any comments and questions or things that you wish to know, then obviously just go ahead and comment. and obviously I'll get to you as soon as humanly possible and answer your questions. Whilst I'm down on a few other games, Toss is a great opportunity for you guys to ask me questions and get information on what you need in this game. All right, so this is King Trying It, always trying it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.